This is the Fender Starcaster, a guitar so unique it broke every Fender rule. But did you know it was also a massive commercial failure? So why did this guitar flop, and how did it go from a forgotten relic to a cult classic decades later? In today's video, we're diving deep into the Starcaster, its unique design, its misunderstood legacy, and more importantly, we're gonna find out what is the Starcaster sound. So let's go. Now, in order for us to answer that question, we have to talk a little bit about the history of the Starcaster. The Starcaster was introduced by Fender Guitars in 1976. The company at the time was trying to diversify its line of guitars to compete with other popular guitar brands, aka Gibson guitars. This period saw a rise in demand for semi-hollow guitars, and Fender wanted a piece of the action. They wanted to build a guitar that can go head to head with the mighty Gibson ES335, which is actually one of my dream guitars, which I don't have in this collection. Maybe one day we'll get one of those. The Starcaster was designed by Gene Fields, who also designed the Mustang bass and the Bronco guitar. For those of you wondering, this is not a vintage 70s Starcaster. Maybe one day we can get one of those. More on this reissue later in the video. Back to the OG Starcaster design. At the time, this guitar was revolutionary and it stood out from every other guitar in the Fender line. It did not look like a Tele, and it definitely did not look like a Strat. The body, of course, was a semi-hollow with the center block with an offset design. After reading some articles online, it seems that people were not into this body shape at the time. They were more drawn to the symmetrical shape of the Gibson ES335. Another cool design feature of this guitar are the wide range humbucker pickups. These pickups were designed by Seth Lover, who we all know designed the original Gibson PAF pickups. For those of you wondering what a wide range humbucker is, well, it's a mixture of a PAF pickup similar to a Gibson Les Paul, which is warm and thick, mixed with a little bit of single coil chime, which I think these pickups are fantastic, and they run a huge array of tones. The neck, of course, is maple, and like all Fender guitars, is a bolt-on neck. And of course, the most controversial design feature on this guitar is the hockey stick style headstock. Man, people did not like this. But I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. Maybe it's the Canadian me, I don't know. Comment down below, what do you guys think of this headstock? Despite its bold and unique design and solid construction, the Starcaster just could not find an audience in the 1970s. Hollow body guitar players still prefer the ES335 from Gibson, as well as Gretsch guitars. And Fender guitar fans simply preferred the Telecaster and the Stratocaster. And by 1980, just 4 years after it was first released into production, the Starcaster was discontinued. Sad face. Starcaster was considered a commercial failure for Fender guitars, and as I mentioned earlier, it was discontinued in 1980. And of course, in the 1980s, with the rise of Eddie Van Halen and all the hair metal bands, super strat guitars became super popular, once with pointy headstocks and Floyd Rose and humbuckers. But something cool happened in the 1990s. The Starcasters started to develop a cult following. Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, who is an influential 90s guitar player, and later on, Dave Koenig from The Killers started playing Starcasters live and in records, and it literally sparked the interest back in this guitar. And in 2013, Fender Guitars finally brought back the Starcaster as part of the Modern Player series. They stuck to the original 70s design of the guitar, but gave it some modern upgrades. This guitar, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is one of those guitars. This one is from 2016 and has been in my collection since 2020. In fact, in 2013, I watched a Premier Guitar rig rundown with Fall Out Boy's Joe Troman, and he was sporting one of these guitars, and I had not seen these guitars then, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, that thing looks amazing. And what particularly drew me to that guitar is this ugly headstock, which I thought looked so cool and so unique and so different. As of the making of this video, Fender has actually discontinued the Modern Player series of the Starcaster. In its place, we have 3 different models of the Starcaster from Squier Guitars: the Affinity series, the Contemporary Active Starcaster, and the Classic 5. And of course, earlier this year, Fender Guitars released the super popular Tom DeLonge Starcaster, which I think looks so dope. I want one. Let's see if we can get our hands on one. Comment down below if you guys have one of those guitars. Now, to answer the question, is this the worst Fender guitar? Not even close. As I mentioned, I've had this guitar for 4 years. I picked it up April 2020. You know, that time we all want to forget about. Go ahead. And if you followed me for any length of time, or if you're new here just discovering me, go check out my Instagram page. I'll link it down in the descriptions below. I play this guitar more than any others in my collection. And that's saying a lot because I consider myself a Les Paul guy. Actually, I have a video about Les Pauls. I'll post it right here. Why do I love this guitar? Well, number one, I love how it looks. I don't care what anybody says. I think this guitar looks beautiful. I love offset guitars. I never used to, but now I love them. And I love the crazy headstock. I think it looks so cool. It's so unique. And man, not everybody is playing these guitars. Number two, I love the size of this guitar. Now, I'm not a very big guy, but when I play it, I feel like it's such a beefy instrument, and I just love how big it feels. Dudes, you guys gotta get your minds out of the gutter, okay? Talking about the guitar. The third reason why I love this guitar so much is it plays so well and it sounds amazing. As I mentioned earlier in the video, these wide range humbuckers can go from Gibson-like tones all the way to Fender-like single coily cleans. I'm not sure what it does, but it definitely can do a little bit of both. And that's why I love this guitar. It can go Les Paul, it can go a little bit Strat, Tele. It's so versatile, it can do it all. So who do I think is this guitar for? Well, I think it's for anybody really. If you play rock, if you play jazz, if you play blues, this guitar is for you because it's so versatile. As I mentioned, it can do Gibson-like tones, it can do Fender-like tones. It does it all and it looks amazing. So if you are in the market for a semi-hollow that's unique, that sounds great, you can't go wrong with the Starcaster. And with the Squire ones these days, man, that's a good bang for your buck. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you guys so much. If you like this video, you might like these ones. Please consider liking and subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications. I will see you guys in the next video. Pick up that Starcaster and let's go.